Let's start with the basics. The first point is that prompts do not need to be long, but they do need to be clear and descriptive. Length is by itself not what matters. What matters is whether the prompt gives the model enough useful direction. The second point is that adding composition and style often leads to much better results. If you only describe the subject, the model has to guess the rest. But if you also say whether you want a flat illustration or a photorealistic image, or from a wide angle, a clean white background, etc., you are making the request much more precise. The third point is negative prompting. That means telling the model what should not appear on the image. For example, no text, etc. So this is the basic formula. Be clear about what you want, be specific about how it should look, and be explicit about what to avoid. Here is a simple example of what that looks like in practice. So the original prompt is create a cloud security icon. Below you see the result. While this is not even that bad, it looks really glossy and maybe it looks a bit like a year 2010 icon. Um, the style or the modern 2026 style is much more flat, more subtle gradients, etc. An improved prompt would be simple flat vector icon of a secure cloud with a shield on it, very minimal design, a blue color palette, a white background, high contrast, no text, no gradients. Below you see also that result. I think this is already a much improved icon. So this is a good example of being very clear and descriptive without having a prompt that is like a few paragraphs long. No, this is actually quite a short prompt, but this creates us a much better result. The next improvement is composition and style. The original prompt is here, a picture of a sustainable city. Again, this is understandable but still vague. The model knows the topic but not the presentation. It has to guess whether you want something cinematic, futuristic, editorial, etc. The improved prompt is much more useful. Photorealistic image of a sustainable city, wide angle view, clean skyline, modern architecture, in the style of a news agency press article. This matters because composition and style strongly influence whether an image feels useful at work. A wide angle view may work better for a presentation slide. Soft daylight makes the image feel more credible and less dramatic, and a press article style may make the image feel much more editorial and professional. So this is a good rule to remember. When your results feels random or off, it is often because the subject is there, but the style and composition are still missing. Now you should know that these are improved results without any iteration, so there is still room for improvement. The third technique is negative prompting. The original prompt here is concept photo of a digital twin. That gives the model a broad ID, but it still leaves a lot of room for unwanted elements. In many AI generated images, that can mean fake backgrounds, odd distortion, or overly dramatical effects. So this is clearly the case with the digital twin example here. It's extremely futuristic in some kind of visual environment that will probably even never exist. So with negative prompting, we can ask the system to avoid these types of images. So the improved prompt would be concept photo of a digital twin, no text, no watermark, no logos, no clutter, no distortion, No blurry areas, no overly complex background, no sci fi fantasy elements, and no neon overload. Below you see the result. This looks actually more editorial, more professional. Negative prompts are especially useful when you want cleaner results for presentations. They do not guarantee perfection, but they often reduce common error and distractions. Think of negative prompting as some kind of cleanup instruction. You are not only telling the model what to create, but also what to stay away from. This all comes back to how these models are created. AI image tools were trained on huge numbers of images paired with labels and descriptions. Human annotators or structured datasets help connect visual elements with words. So think of millions and millions of images labeled with tags, for example, cats, colors, yellow, style, etc. Um, with millions and probably even billions of images labeled, these AI models are trained. And then when we use patterns in a prompt, the system will be able to generate better images for us. So this is why being descriptive is so important. So with this in mind, we can move on to the next chapter.